6 years of silence, 6 years since she tore my heart out and disappeared like a ghost. And now she was right there, her hand on his chest, his lips on hers, and both of them frozen like deer in headlights the second they saw me. The reunion. Banner still hung crooked above the gym door. "Welcome back, class of 2016. I didn't even want to come. I almost bailed that morning, but my buddy Travis pushed me. Said I needed closure. Said it would be fun. Yeah, fun." My knuckles cracked before I realized I was moving. I didn't plan it. I didn't think. But something ancient inside me snapped the moment I saw them. 1 second I was standing near the punch bowl, trying to remember if I hated fruit salad. The next, I was swinging. Right hook, straight to the jaw. To his credit, Jason didn't go down right away. But he staggered. His smug little grin disappeared, replaced with shock and something else. Guilt? She screamed my name, a name I hadn't heard her say in years. "Ryan, stop!" I did, but only because the silence that followed hit harder than any punch. Everyone was watching. "Oh my God," someone whispered. I took 2 steps back and looked around. The music had stopped. The crowd parted like some kind of cheesy high school drama, only this wasn't some Netflix teen show. This was my real life imploding. Again. "Is this a joke?" I finally said, my voice low and bitter. "You two?" Jason wiped blood from his lip and looked like he wanted to say something. Instead, he shrugged. Shrugged. That shrug said everything. "Yeah," he muttered. "It just happened." "No," I snapped. "It didn't just happen. You were my best friend. She was my everything. And you both chose to destroy that." Emily stepped forward, eyes wide with that fake pity she wore so well. "I didn't know how to tell you." "You didn't try?" I cut her off. "You ghosted me, Em. One day we're planning our move to Chicago, the next, nothing. Radio silence. You blocked me. My calls, my messages, gone. I thought you were dead. I meant it. For months, I actually thought she was in trouble. Until I saw that one picture on social media, her on the beach, laughing, sitting on Jason's lap. Now she stood in front of me, older but still stunning, like time had decided to spare her just to twist the knife a little deeper. "Ryan," she whispered, "we were kids. We didn't know what we were doing." "We?" I asked, laughing bitterly. "Speak for yourself. I was in love. I was going to propose to you that summer." That got her. Her mouth dropped, just slightly. Then she looked at Jason and I saw it. She hadn't told him. Good. Let the guilt spread. I turned to leave, adrenaline still buzzing through my veins, but someone grabbed my arm. It was Travis. "Bro, let's go outside. Cool off." I shook him off. "I'm good," I said. "I just came to see if I was over it. Guess not." I walked out of that gym with every eye burning into my back, but I didn't care. Not anymore. Outside, I stood in the parking lot, breathing hard. Rain was starting to fall, like the sky was mocking me. That's when I heard the door creak behind me. Footsteps, soft ones. "I didn't know he was your friend," she said behind me. I didn't turn around. "I don't care anymore." Silence. Then she said something that stopped me cold. "I'm getting a divorce." A divorce. That word hit like a slow-burning match. I turned around. Emily stood there soaked in the rain, her arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold something together inside. "Too late for that." "A divorce?" I said, eyes narrowed. "What does that have to do with me?" Her bottom lip trembled. I remembered how she used to bite it when she was nervous. Back when that look would have made me drop anything and run. To her. "Not tonight. I just thought—" "You should know," she whispered. I let out a low laugh. "Why? So I can swoop in and save you? Is that it? You ruin me, marry my best friend, then crawl back when it falls apart?" "I didn't mean for any of this to happen," she murmured. I took a step forward, not aggressive, but heavy. "I meant to marry you. That summer. I had the ring. You knew that." She blinked, tears mixing with rain. "I didn't know." "Don't." "Lie to me," I snapped. "You always knew. You ran because you got scared, or bored, or because Jason was easier. Maybe he made you feel wanted. Maybe I was too real for you." Her face crumbled. We stood like that, 2 ex-lovers soaking in. The storm, both older, both worn out. But only one of us had spent years stitching himself back together. "I made a mistake," she said finally, voice cracking. I looked up at the sky, then back at her. "I stopped waiting for your apology a long time ago." That should have been the end. It would have been if not for what she said next. I had an abortion. The air collapsed in my lungs. I stared at her, my brain refusing to register the words. What? She sniffled, stepped closer. I was pregnant. The summer I left. I didn't tell anyone, not even Jason. I didn't know what to do. I was scared, Ryan. You were talking about moving across the country, starting fresh, getting married. That was the plan, I exploded. That was our life. I panicked, she yelled back. I didn't think you'd want it. You were stressed. Broke, barely sleeping. I thought I'd ruin your future. So you killed our kid instead? My voice dropped into something cold, something I didn't know I had. She flinched. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know what you'd do. I shook my head. That wasn't your choice to make, not alone. For a moment, all I could hear was the rain. It pounded on the pavement like applause for the disaster she just confessed. You want forgiveness? I asked. Closure? Sorry, Emily. I don't have it in me. You were everything to me, and you buried it all like it meant nothing. I was young, she whispered. So was I replied, eyes locked on hers. But I didn't abandon anyone. We stood in silence for what felt like hours, and then she did something I didn't expect. She reached into her purse and pulled out a photograph, a crumpled ultrasound. This was him, she said. 10 weeks. I kept it. I didn't take it. I couldn't. My legs were trembling. I think about it every day, she added. I swallowed the fire building in my chest. Too many emotions were crashing at once. Anger, grief, confusion, even guilt. And under it all, something worse. That part of me, the stupid, aching part, still wanted to protect her. Does Jason know? I asked quietly. She shook her head. Of course not. Wouldn't want to ruin his peace, huh? It's over with him, she said. It's been over. We haven't been okay for years. Then why stay? She hesitated, then said, because I thought I deserved to be punished. I thought losing you was my punishment. I turned away, breath shaky. This wasn't the conversation I came here to have. This wasn't the night I wanted. You should go, I finally said. This changes nothing. She nodded slowly, her eyes never leaving mine. Then she left, heels clicking through puddles like a slow drumbeat of retreat. I stood alone for a long time. The pain felt ancient and fresh all at once. There was no peace in knowing the truth, just a new kind of scar. 3 days. That's how long it took before the past kicked down my door again. I was back in Austin, trying to pretend the reunion never happened, trying to silence the voices in my head, hers mostly, the way she'd whispered, I think about it every day. The ultrasound photo, the rain, her eyes, I didn't tell anyone. Not my buddy Jeff, not my sister, no one. Some things you bury because digging them up hurts worse than the silence. Then on Wednesday, my phone rang. Blocked number. I don't usually pick those up, but something told me to answer. Hello? A beat of silence. Then a deep voice. Ryan? I froze. Who's this? This is Jason, Emily's husband. My spine straightened like I'd been plugged into a live wire. What do you want? He exhaled like he was steadying himself. I think we need to talk. I laughed bitterly. Little late for that, don't you think? Look, he said. I know she saw you at the reunion. She's been a mess ever since. And now, I need to know something. Not my problem, I shot back. I think she still loves you, he said. That shut me up, he continued. I read her messages. I know about the ultrasound. I know what she told you. You went through her phone? I asked, trying to keep my voice even. She left it unlocked. What can I say? Marriage really brings out the trust issues. I should have hung up, but I didn't. Because some part of me wanted answers too. So why are you calling me? I asked, because she left. I blinked. What? She packed a bag last night, left a note, said she needed space. I figured she went to you. She didn't, I said, suddenly feeling like the last person who should be having this conversation. Jason let out a frustrated sigh. You know, I always suspected, even back then, that she loved you more than she ever loved me. You're just figuring that out now? Silence. Heavy. Then he said something that turned the air ice cold. I think she's sick. My pulse quickened. What do you mean? She's lost weight. She doesn't eat. Barely sleeps. She stares at that damn photo like it's a ghost. And yesterday, he paused. Yesterday I found her on the bathroom floor, crying, clutching a bottle of sleeping pills. A chill ran down my spine. Jesus. I don't know where she is, Ryan, Jason said. And as much as I hate this, I think she needs you. I rubbed my temples, heart pounding. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not her damn hero. No, but you're the only person she ever really listened to? I didn't respond. You can hate me all you want, he added. I probably deserve it. But Emily, she's unraveling, and I don't think she can pull herself back together this time. The call ended without a goodbye. I sat there in stunned silence, staring at my cracked phone screen, heart racing like I'd just been sucker punched. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept seeing her face, the way she looked that night in the rain. The way she'd said, I thought losing you was my punishment, and suddenly I wasn't angry anymore, just terrified. What if she was really gone this time? The next morning, I called every hotel in town. Checked social media, nothing. Then around noon, I got a text. Unknown number, just an address. No message, no name. I knew it was her. I drove 2 hours without thinking, past dry fields, cheap gas stations, and long stretches of road that looked like purgatory. Pulled into a motel that looked like it hadn't seen a guest since 2009, room 106. The number matched the text. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again, louder, still nothing. Emily, I yelled. No sound. I didn't hesitate. I kicked the door once, twice, until the lock gave. She was lying on the bed, fully clothed, eyes open but glassy. Pill bottles on the table. Water spilled across the carpet. Emily! I rushed to her side. Her chest rose and fell slowly. Thank God. Hey, can you hear me? She turned her head just enough to whisper, You came! You idiot, I muttered, pressing my fingers to her wrist. Pulse, faint, but there. Why didn't you call someone? Why didn't you? I didn't know if I wanted to wake up, she said weakly. I called 911. Gave them the address with a voice I barely recognized as my own. Sat there holding her hand until the sirens arrived. In that moment, all the pain, all the betrayal, all the years, they didn't matter, because she was still breathing. And somehow, for reasons I didn't yet understand, I still cared. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and broken promises. Emily lay in that sterile white room, hooked to machines, an IV drip snaking into her arm. Her hair was tangled, her lips cracked. But she was alive. I sat in the visitor chair beside her, bed, gripping a lukewarm cup of vending machine coffee, waiting for her to wake up. She stirred around 3 a.m., eyes fluttered open. She blinked twice, saw me, and whispered, You really came? I stood, nearly knocking over the chair. I thought you were gone, I choked out. She gave a faint smile. Almost. Why? My voice cracked. Why would you do that to yourself? Her eyes welled up, red and tired. I couldn't carry it anymore. Carry what? I asked, barely breathing. She looked away. The lie. What lie? She swallowed hard. I didn't lose the baby, Ryan. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. What? What are you talking about? I told you I had a miscarriage. Because I was scared, she whispered. But I didn't. I had the baby. I gave her up for adoption. My legs nearly gave out. You lied to me? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I was 20, broke and alone. My parents were furious. They said they'd disown me. Jason was there. He offered to help, said we could raise her. But when I held her for the first time, I panicked. I thought she deserved better. I sat down slowly, staring at her like I didn't recognize her. You told me you lost her. You let me grieve for years. I hated myself for it. She said, voice barely audible. Every birthday, every Christmas, I thought of her and of you. But I thought you'd hate me if you knew. I stood up, pacing, heart hammering. You let me think my daughter was gone, Emily, for 6 damn years. I know, she sobbed. And I wanted to tell you so many times, but then life happened. Jason and I moved. We tried to be a family, but I never stopped thinking about her or you. I stared at the ceiling, willing myself not to scream. I mourned her. I dreamed of her. I blamed myself for losing her. I know, she whispered, and I am so sorry. Silence settled between us. The machines beeped, steadily. The hallway outside echoed with a janitor's mop dragging across tile. Where is she? I finally asked. Emily looked at me, eyes trembling. She's in Phoenix. Her name is Grace now. I got pictures, updates, letters. The adoptive parents allowed that much. I sat back down, numb. A daughter. I had a daughter. A 6-year-old girl somewhere in Arizona with my eyes maybe, or her mother's laugh. Does Jason know? She nodded slowly. I told him a year into our marriage. He promised to keep it secret. But he never looked at me the same again. Jesus. I thought I was doing the right thing, she whispered, giving her a better life. But I was wrong. I was just scared. The pain in her voice felt real, raw, and yet I didn't know if I could forgive her. Not yet. I need time, I said, standing. She nodded, wiping her face. I understand. As I walked out of the room, a nurse passed me and gave a soft smile. You're a good man for being here, she said. I didn't feel like one. Outside, the sunrise painted the sky in orange and blood-red streaks. I got in my truck and just sat, there, head on the steering wheel, mind spinning, a daughter, Grace. The name stung and soothed all at once. My phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number again. This time, it wasn't Emily. It was a photo. A little girl with auburn curls and a crooked smile was holding a soccer trophy. Grace, U6 champs, read the caption. And beneath it, a message. She deserves to know her father. Please don't. Disappear again. No name. No number. Just that. I stared at the screen for a full minute before I realized I was crying. Not from sadness. Not from anger. From the weight of 6 years crashing down all at once. I had a daughter, and somehow, someone knew I did, but who? The photo haunted me for days. Grace. Her name felt sacred now. A 6-year-old girl I'd never held, never rocked to sleep, never kissed goodnight. And someone out there had access to her life. And mine. I didn't know if the message was a threat or a plea. So I started digging. First, I visited Emily again. Her discharge had been quiet and Jason wasn't around. She looked thinner, paler. We talked, but carefully, like strangers balancing on a wire. Did you send me that photo? I asked. She shook her head. No, but I got one too. She reached into her purse and handed me a crumpled envelope. Inside was the same picture. Grace, soccer trophy, crooked smile. But on the back, someone had written in pen, Truth always. Finds a way. Tell him everything. You think it's the adoptive parents? I asked. No. They've never broken contact protocol. Ever. They're careful. So who else knows? She hesitated. Jason. My stomach twisted. Jason. Always. Lurking on the edges. Too smooth. Too polished. The guy who swooped in while I was still bleeding. I don't trust him, I muttered. Emily flinched, but didn't argue. That night, I drove by their old house. Empty. For sale sign up. A neighbor walking her dog recognized me. They moved. Out a week ago, she said. Said something about starting fresh. Took the red truck and everything. Seemed in a rush. Suspicious didn't begin to cover it. I called an old friend, Marcus, who worked private security out in Mesa. He owed me a favor. Need help tracking someone. Quietly, I said. You finally pissed off a drug dealer? He joked. Worse. My ex's husband. He laughed. I'm listening. I gave him Jason's full name, old address, his company, a tech startup called Glowstack, and a photo I found on LinkedIn. Marcus said he'd run a trace. 2 days later, he called me. Your boy Jason isn't who you think he is. What? Do you mean? Glowstack went bankrupt last year. Embezzlement charges. CEO disappeared. Name on the warrant? Jason Fremont. I stopped breathing. He was using a fake last name? Not fake. Changed it. Legally. 3 years ago. But here's the kicker. Before that, he was under investigation in Chicago for identity fraud. Never got convicted, slipped through. And the adoption records? Guess who served as character witness for the adoptive parents? Jason? I whispered. Bingo. I hung up, hands trembling. It all fit now. The secrecy. The pressure. The way Emily shriveled in his presence. Jason hadn't just inserted himself into her life. He'd orchestrated it. He'd manipulated her into giving up Grace. Maybe even controlled the entire adoption process. And now, he'd vanished. I drove to Emily's apartment. When she opened the door, I didn't wait. Jason lied to you. About everything. She blinked. What? I told her everything. His criminal record, the company, the fraud. At first, she just stared. Then she collapsed into a chair, shaking. Oh my God. He groomed you, Emily, I said. He set this up. He made you give up Grace. I thought he was helping, she whispered. He told me it was the only way, that we'd be ruined if I kept her. I sat across from her, my voice steel. He's dangerous, and now he's out there, and someone, maybe him, is watching. Grace. She looked up, horror in her eyes. You think he's trying to get her back? I think he's already tried. The next day, Marcus called again. There's more. Jason bought a one-way ticket to Phoenix last week. Name change again. Used an alias, Jared Fields. Is he still there? Maybe, but if I were you, I'd go now. So I packed a bag. I was heading to Phoenix, not for vengeance. Not even for Emily, but for Grace. My daughter. She didn't know I existed. Didn't know someone dangerous might be stalking her soccer games, photographing her from the sidelines, pretending to be someone else. And if Jason was after her, I had to stop him. I hit the road at sunrise. Arizona was a 6-hour drive. My hands were sweating the whole way. I didn't have a plan. Just a photo. A name. And a father's fury growing hotter with every mile. I called the adoption agency on the drive. Pretended to be a legal rep for Emily. They wouldn't give much. But I got a city, Chandler, small enough. I booked a motel and started canvassing the area, schools, parks, soccer fields. And then, day 3, I saw her, Grace, red jersey, ponytail, racing down a field like a rocket, laughing. Her laugh hit me, like lightning. I sat on the bleachers, heart thudding, hands clenched, and then I saw him, Jason, standing beneath a tree, sunglasses, hoodie, watching her and smiling. That's when I knew. This wasn't over, not even close. I stayed still, didn't move, didn't breathe. From my seat on the bleachers, I watched Jason watching Grace. He was too far to hear her laugh, but he grinned like he owned her joy, like he deserved to be near her. I took a photo of him, date stamped it, zoomed in. It was him, Jason, or Jared, or whatever fake name he was using this week. I followed him. He left before the game ended, slid back into a beat-up silver SUV with Texas plates. I tailed him 3 blocks, then called Marcus. Got eyes on him. Chandler, Arizona. I need backup. Marcus didn't hesitate. Stay on him. Don't confront. I'm calling a friend in the marshals. Jason pulled into a suburban neighborhood and parked 2 houses down from a corner lot with a basketball hoop in the driveway. He didn't go inside, just sat, watching. 10 minutes later, a woman stepped out with Grace, the same girl from the photo, her mom. My chest clenched. This was them. The adoptive family. Jason didn't speak to them, just stared. He was tracking them, stalking them. That was the proof we needed. I dropped the photo and my audio recording at the Chandler PD with Marcus's contact. They promised to investigate, but I couldn't wait for a court date. That night, I knocked on Emily's door. I saw her, I said, shaking. I saw Grace. And I saw him, watching her, from across the street. Emily looked like she might collapse. We have to warn the parents, I said. She hesitated. I don't even know if they'd believe me. They don't have to. But I'm going back tomorrow. With them or without them. And I did. Next day, I rang the doorbell. A tall man answered, early 40s, sharp eyes. Behind him stood a woman, Grace's mother. The girl herself peeked around her mom's hip. I froze. I'd practiced my words 100 times, but nothing. Prepares you to meet your own child for the first time. And have her not know who you are. I'm not here to disrupt anything, I said gently. My name is Luke. I used to know Emily. A long time ago, their faces tightened. I believe your family is being watched by a man named Jason Fremont. He's dangerous. The father stepped forward. Who are you, really? I'm Grace's biological father. Silence, then he pulled me inside. Turns out I wasn't the first one to notice Jason. We've seen the same guy 3 times this month. The dad, his name was Carl, told me. Filed a report. No one took it seriously. They will now, I said. I gave them everything. Jason's aliases, charges, ties to Emily, even the way he manipulated the adoption. Carl recorded it all, called his lawyer, called the cops. Again. Only this time they acted. Turns out Jason had skipped a court date in New Mexico. Warrant still active. With my evidence, they traced his SUV and arrested him 2 days later, hiding in a motel under yet another fake name. Emily was subpoenaed, and, for the first time in years, she stood tall. In court, she laid it all out. The pressure, the manipulation, the lies. Her eyes never left Jason's face. He didn't smile this time. He was sentenced to 8 years for identity fraud, witness coercion, and violating interstate stalking laws. But the sentence didn't matter. What mattered was that Grace was safe. 2 months later, I got a letter. It was from Carl and his wife. They said they appreciated my honesty, my restraint, my protection, and they invited me to Grace's next soccer game, just as a friend of the family. I wept reading it. I didn't need a title. Didn't need her to call me Dad. Just being in her world again was enough. At the game, she ran up to me after scoring a goal. "Hi, you're the guy who helped my parents," she beamed. I knelt down, smiled through tears. "I guess I am." Emily stood across the field. She smiled too. We'd all been broken in our own way. But somehow, the truth had stitched us back together. That night, I walked away from the field lighter than I'd felt. In years, no more running, no more silence, no more lies, just Grace. And a future worth fighting for. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined? Or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.